Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast.
Tomorrow is opening day.
This morning, didn't have a great hunt. Deer didn't move like usual.
We just got set up in the middle of this bedding thicket. Saving this spot from the rut. It's a nice, I think it's a nice buck.
Boom! Hits a 170.
That was money. I think he's down right over there, maybe 10 yards.
Whitetail Legacy Podcast, bringing you back to the hunt and leaving a legacy.
Baller rut.
Guys, you're in for it on this one. My brain took in so much intel. I had to take like seven sheets of notes.
Yeah, I sharpened a brand new number 2 pencil down to about 1.5 inches.
Yeah. It's about the.
That's why I didn't say much.
Yeah, you didn't say much. You're just soaking it in.
I was. Man,
Yeah, this guy runs more tram cameras than I know anybody does, and we barely cracked the surface with this guy. We gotta have him back on. I mean, just one of those podcasts you're gonna want to take some notes. I mean, I'm serious. This is good. This guy's got some awesome tips for public. I mean, he's all public ground too.
Yep.
And he's super successful on giant deer. I mean,
if you're thinking about running trail cams, or you are running trail cams and you're new to it, definitely be paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect time of year when people are getting out for velvet season to have this episode about trail cameras. I mean, whether you're on private or you're on public, there's some awesome knowledge in this. And the freaking guy makes me want to hunt public only. Is he not you? I mean, he motivated me to hunt public only. I mean, he's just the stuff he's saying in there. I mean, it just you're like, you know what? Screw the lease, screw the private ground. I'm going public. I want to make it work because I want to do me, and it'd just be so much more rewarding out there, I think.
Yeah, and then just like when we're talking to Jeremiah, whatever you do it's gonna be work, and public's gonna be a little bit more work. You have to walk a little bit farther in the morning. You have to get your ass out of bed 20 minutes earlier because you got a farther walk. But when you get it done, it's just gonna be that much better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is one of my favorite episodes I think we've done. I mean, for this time period and knowledge, this is an absolute stellar episode. And like we said, I had show notes for this, and we didn't even touch them. No,
we scrapped that.
I mean, it's just like we hit like 3 things, and then we didn't even have time because the guy is just
he's so deep into running these trail cameras. While we're on that, we just kept going and going. You kept going and going.
Yeah, I didn't even get all the questions that I wanted to ask. Because we try to make this podcast an hour and a half. That's what we feel like people want to listen to, because we're podcast junkies, and that's what we kind of want to listen to. And well, we're definitely going to have this guy back on. So just a shout out to the listeners. If there's any questions that you want to ask this guy when he comes back on, and maybe just a few weeks if we can get him, send us an email. Hit him with the email, homie.
Yeah, whitetail_legacy@yahoo.
Yeah.
I think they should know you already said he's all public ground. In there, he already said he's running, 70 trail cams between his 2 buddies. And he's hunting with a self bow.
Yeah, that's something we don't even cover in this episode.
No, we did not even get into that.
The guy is shooting stellar deer on public with a self bow. Okay, we didn't even touch that in this episode because we didn't have time. He's doing it like as legit as you can get for bow hunting.
God.
And he's smashing monsters. It's
his wall looks really nice.
Yeah, just awesome. I mean, And he's saying a lot of it is these trail cams, and I could get what he's saying. You know, he said if there's a buck on that ground, he knows it. You know, I mean, but if you run 70 trail cam, but he's hunting a giant piece of public too.
Yeah.
That's totally next level to us too, because we can't even relate to that.
You know, he gets into that, and I can't even imagine. Like, you know, you buy a trail camera, you have to have the camera. Well, you also need a memory card. I just can't wrap my head around the money he's got in memory cards.
I had in my notes organization for cameras and memory cards, like, because I mean that's just a ton of pictures and stuff that you need to organize per year, you know. And how do you get, when you go hang 70 trail cameras, how do you get that many to the, you know, you got to have a system, and that's something I wanted to cover.
How can you be like, oh man, dude, you know, number 37 is not giving us shit, we need to move that one? Like, where?
Yeah, he's got to have some he's got to have some organization, and that was in my notes to cover, you know, because for someone running that kind of trail camera, I mean, there's a lot of knowledge there. So we absolutely have to have this guy back on.
Say I hang 7 trail cams. I know where 7 trail cams are at. I don't know where 70
I know.
At. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot.
Man.
So. But yeah, this guy makes me want to hunt.
Guy's got $500 in memory cards.
Yeah, this guy makes me want to hunt public, you know. But like you said, it was years of gaining trail cams. You know? Years and years and years to get where he's at.
Nothing happens overnight.
And then he talks about why, you know, he's been keeping, now he has so many because he bought some higher quality ones with a good warranty.
Yep.
And now he's able to keep that stock up, you know, instead of losing trail cameras. So
yeah, I mean, if he buys one, he's got 5 years. If it gets stolen, whatever, ants, water.
Shout out
whatever.
to Exodus in this one. He really makes me want to go
check them out, do some research.
Yeah,
at least check them out.
Check out some Exodus trail cameras, because the way he's talking, I didn't know half the stuff that he was saying. You know,
I just thought that was like a mid grade camera. Really, is what I thought.
Yeah, they don't do a lot of promotion to where you could figure out, you know, kind of what they are, and they're kind of new. So I think this podcast is going to be something good for people to listen to really figure out Exodus trail cameras, and they're awesome, absolutely awesome trail cameras.
The pictures he sent us,
the pictures are
unreal.
Insane. I mean, a buck mid scrape, just perfect detail. I mean, that's
might as well be 4K.
Yeah, that's hard to do. But all right, we got to get in our partners. Ingram's Outdoor Obsession. You guys, it's getting close to season, and if you are coming to Illinois or you are a listener in Illinois and you want to get your buck mounted by the funniest, the best friend, the rubber boot wearing master.
That guy does wear the shit out of rubber boots.
You better check out Ingram's Outdoor Session. This guy is doing big things in a little shop. I'm telling you what.
It's clean.
It's clean. Clean shop, clean work. Man, I'm gonna do a shout out for his wife on here, because she was putting in work there.
Yes,
we haven't done that yet.
That is key.
I think that's something we need to do. When we were up there, him and his wife were a team, and his wife was putting in some solid work while we were there.
Chris and Kendra.
Yeah, Kendra. You're putting in some solid work. Shout out to you. Thank you for helping Chris out, because
I'll pay Ingram $50 if she listens to this.
I don't know if she's going to listen or not, but shout out to you, girl.
Yeah.
Check out Ingram's Outdoor Obsession. We hope to be doing some big stuff with them this coming fall, helping him promote and really letting people see what he can do, and not making him pay someone to help him, you know.
No, and you know, if you guys get a deer down, you know, whether it be a doe or a buck, and you take it to your taxidermist, I feel like you need to ask your taxidermist what method he's using to preserve the hide, whether he's using dry preserve or whether he's tanning it, or if he's sending it off to get tanned outside of his shop. I feel like that is something, as you of, you know, the person who has harvested that deer and is paying the money to get it done, you need to find out what's going on with that hide, because I have 2 on the wall that are dry preserve, and knowing what I know now, which, I mean, you always wish you could go back, but Man, dude, once I've seen a couple mounts and I know what to look for with some mounts that have a tanned hide, that's the way to go, man.
You can always remount them.
Yeah.
He actually had a remount in there from somebody that yeah, it was
that thing needed an M80.
yeah, it was bad, but he'll bring it back to life.
Yep. Yeah, just be sure. I feel like you need to know, check it out, what's going on with your hide.
Yep.
I think I'll if nothing happens, I'll probably redo my shotgun deer.
Yeah, be cool.
Yeah. I don't know what I'll probably do him upright though.
Yeah, you got to do.
Yeah.
You got to do the same.
Do the same.
Yeah.
That was the way I seen him. He come just trotting in. It was ridiculous.
ECW. What can we say, man? Veteran made product. Whoa. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but we just got some Richter scale.
Whoa.
Veteran owned, veteran operated company right here local, putting out awesome product. We're super excited for Jeff. He's got big things coming his way. He's growing majorly, getting in a ton of stores. And when you're talking to him, he's growing huge around here, getting in a lot of the outdoor shows.
He's a lot busier than I thought he was gonna be.
A lot.
Like when we talked to him, man, that blew my mind how busy he was.
That's good. We're
and he wants more. He said, "Bring it on."
He's ready. Guy's a veteran, works full time, a different job, and then makes these calls too. So he's a busy guy. Got kids, loves deer hunting. So, and he's got a giant to chase this year. So
He does?
Oh yeah.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, he's got a giant. So hopefully,
Awesome.
hopefully he gets that deer down. That'd be super stellar for him. VIP, old Matty, man. I can't wait to just hang out with that guy.
Yeah, the wife was listening to his episode and she's like, "Well, how old is Matt?" And I said, "I don't know. He's an older guy." He said he's just an old skinny dude. And she's like, "Man, where does he live?" I said, "Well, he lives down in Texas." She's like, "Oh man, I wish he lived closer. I'd like to hang out with him." Like my wife is saying that, has no idea about anything hunting wise, really. I mean, other than what I've told her. But she's just like, "Man, he seems like a really cool dude to just hang out with."
Yeah, me and him, we text frequently, which is super cool, and he's just a super awesome dude. I mean, he's always really positive.
He just wants the best for everybody,
Yeah,
really.
he just wants to help people grow, and he's really passionate about the little man. He's really passionate about, not the big companies, which I really like, you know. And that's one thing I want to say on this episode. VIP is growing rapidly. I mean, they're getting huge, but they're not as huge as brands that everybody knows.
Right. And see,
but the reason it is because they don't have the money to throw into marketing. They don't have the famous people saying that they shoot the broadhead. I'm gonna say this right now. Every broadhead a kill if you put a good shot.
Yep.
Okay. Will it give you a pass through? Maybe, maybe not. People rep a product and they say this is the best product, but they never really say why. So, if you shoot a veteran, do you have a better chance of getting pass through?
Yes.
Yes. Why? Because it has the variable cutting width. Okay.
Yes. Independent compressible blade width.
Yep, exactly. Scientific stuff. Are you supporting a small business?
Yes.
Are you supporting a veteran business?
Yes.
Are you supporting a 100% American-made product? Not built in America only, but 100% steel, 100% made, 100% owned.
And assembled.
Yes. What else can we say? I mean, every broadhead a kill. Broadhead's such a taboo topic. We can't change that. Your opinion on something, but why wouldn't you want to rep and why wouldn't you want to shoot something that's going to do better than what you have already? You're going to feel more confident. You're going to support a small business in America that's veteran-owned, veteran-operated, and 100% American. I don't know how you get better than that. I don't understand, Broadheads, I bet you, broadhead and brand bow
Yeah.
is the hardest to change
Top two.
All
It has to be top
all
two.
the way across the board.
Has to be top two. All I know is when I go full draw and the national anthem starts playing and I hit the trigger,
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking for that arrow to be sticking in the ground because it's going right through whatever deer I'm
Yeah.
pulling back on.
Yep. I have got a pass through on everything that I've shot so far.
Oh, man, dude, I'm telling you, it's going through it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
You're going through a 6.5-year-old buck, leg bone,
yeah,
and then back into it.
yeah.
I mean, come on.
Shattered his opposite leg bone in half. And the broadhead's mint. Still got it. You know, I mean, I just... And, okay, say something crazy happens. They got replaceable blades.
Yeah. Okay, so
Well,
this
there's not very-
broadhead
yeah, there's
comes apart like
Yeah,
that.
like, 10 seconds you have it apart. There's not very many companies that say, okay, instead of buying a whole new set of broadheads, here's some replaceable blades for a quarter the cost. Go ahead and shoot them
Yeah,
again.
I think you get new blades for $18.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, what
Brand
what
new
company
American
does that?
steel scalpel sharp blades ready to throw
Yeah.
in there.
Case hardened, scalpel sharp blades. I mean, I don't. Okay, we're just moving on because there's nothing else we can say.
We're done.
We're so passionate about that broadhead, and Matt is such a good dude. I told him today, I'm gonna go into battle with my bow and my podcast mic, ready to roll in. So, all right, guys, we hope you enjoy this episode. Before I move on, I'm
Okay.
gonna hit it with the VIP shout out. Let me pull that up.
Well, while Cody pulls that up, we had Matt Damwood on back in episode 8, and he got his own episode, and he was also the veteran shout out for that episode. But Matt is still active duty, and here about a month ago, he was deployed, and he was deployed over to Drosko Pomorski, Poland, for 3 weeks. And 116 troops went from the 123 Engineer Battalion in the National Guard. And we just wanted to shout them out again. Shout Matt out and all his buddies and troops that went over there and were deployed in Poland for the beginning of summer back here in the country. So we appreciate all that. And Cody, go ahead and hit him with the veteran broadhead shout out.
Yeah, Matt, I just want to say thank you, man. I know you got kids. You're away from them, your kids and wife.
And he's getting ready for a wedding. I think it's
Yeah,
50 days.
I know.
50 days, less than 50 days now.
We can't thank you enough. But I got John Burns, 1990 to 1993. He was in the Navy in the Gulf War on a attack hover squad. He went to Iraq, the Red Sea, Germany, Sweden. The guy's been all over. He spent almost all of his time on a boat, on an attack squad boat attached to a bigger Navy ship. So we can't thank you enough, John. He's a new listener to the podcast,
Right on.
so that's awesome, and we appreciate for what you did way back in 1990 for us.
Yeah, John, I definitely appreciate it. I know I can't do a long time on a boat.
No,
So I would have had some nerves about going out there and being stuck out there on a boat,
yeah.
especially on a littler one, not just like a big old Navy carrier.
Well, we appreciate what you did, man. We can't thank you enough. From here, the Whitetail Legacy crew, both of our families. We hope you guys enjoy this episode. I definitely enjoyed it. I appreciate Josh coming on, and I can't wait to have him on again.
What you need to do right now is just go buy a pack of batteries and get some trail cams out.
Heck yes, do it. Velvet Rut. Velvet Rut's on. It's gonna be baller. How's it going, guys? We're sitting in here and we got Josh Profitt on the phone, man. Thank you so much for calling, dude. I've been telling you, but dude, I'm stoked about this episode. I'm gonna learn so much. For me, especially, we hit you like the exact right time period, like you said, going into Velvet Rut. This is like the perfect episode time for you.
That's right. You know, anytime that you can get together with a couple of guys and talk about deer hunting, I don't care if it's 9 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock in the morning, it's a good time.
Yeah, we're doing this at 9 o'clock at night, and he was nice enough. You just drove from how many hours you had to drive in the car too, and you're still talking to us.
Man,
so.
it was deep. We left at 4:30 and got home and pulled in the driveway about 2:30. So you do the math. With a 3-year-old in the back, it was. Yeah,
it was brutal.
Yeah. It was quite the adventure. So I've been up, all morning. I've drove 650 miles, and now we're here talking big deer.
Heck yeah, man! I can't thank you enough for coming on. I'm super excited about this episode. We're gonna put a lot of good information out there. We got homie in studio as always.
Let's just start asking the man questions. I'm ready to go.
I know. I just want to give a big shout out to homie. He put in a ton of work today for us. So there's your shout
Sweet.
out.
By the time we're done recording tonight, I'll probably be about 10 hours deep in just podcast stuff today.
So let's get right into questions, man. Let's get the people started. Let's get your background in hunting, where you started hunting and where you're at now.
Okay, basically, I started hunting about 25 years ago. My granddad kind of got me into it, and then he was a meat hunter, and I grew up thinking that a buck was a trophy. I pretty much shot the first deer I seen, and if it was a buck, if it was a 4-corned 1.5-year-old buck, I thought I'd done killed a booner. And that went on till the time I was about 15 or 16, because I remember I got my first Monster Bucks DVD, and these guys were, they were knocking down Pope and Youngs. I'm like, I ain't even never seen a deer that big. Like, how are they doing that? And then it dawned on me, like, oh, they're not shooting the first thing they see. So that kind of changed my outlook. And the first year I started letting deer walk, was the first year I put one on the wall. But to quick recap, I've pretty much, I guess I've bow hunted about 18 seasons. And I got 9 deer on the wall.
Heck yeah, man. Can't beat that. That's better standards than I got.
Yeah, that's a lot more than I got. I've barely been alive 18 years.
There's been a couple heartbreaks in there too, and it's the saying's true. The biggest one always gets away, and that seems like that's happened 3 times to me off the top of my head.
Yeah, I've been there too. Homie's been there too. It seems like all the giants just slip right between your fingers, man.
Man, they just do. They do something to you.
Yeah.
Big deer do something to you, and I mean they will take a grown man, a veteran, and they will just shake him and break him. They really will.
For sure, man. I've been there where you're like when I shoot a deer, I feel like I'm in my element. But when I was on that, world-class deer, I was not. I was like a 6-year-old in the stand, drawing back the bow for the first time.
That's right.
So you said you started young, shooting forked horns right off the bat?
Yeah, I started when I was about 8. I think I killed my first deer when I was 8. And best I can remember, I killed my first buck for sure when I was 10. It was just a downhill spiral from there, At the time, I could only hunt 2 days during youth season. We didn't have a muzzleloader, and then, modern day rifle season here in Kentucky was 2 weeks long. So basically, I was only hunting 4 or 6 times a season, and I mean, I was just ate up with it. And about the time I was 14 or 15, my uncle, I don't know what model it is, but he had an old Browning bow, and he was like, hey, get this thing dialed in, go hunt. And then all of a sudden I realized that my season was not just a couple days long, it was from September to January, and that was the game changer.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I started out rifle hunting and then went straight to bow hunting, and then when you get that bow hunting, and my parents must have been like super cool because I was 12 and they let me just go up by myself and just rep it, I had a climber stand too. Dangerous as hell.
Man, I don't know. I got a 12-year-old, and I don't know if I could picture him climbing right now.
yeah.
He'll hang and bang, but I can't picture him climbing.
So the main thing we want to cover on this episode, and I think we could take a whole episode up, is your trail cam game, dude. Before you start talking, I just want to say your trail cam game is next level. For me, there might be other people out there that are doing what you do, but it's got to be a minute group that is doing what you do, man. And the amount of work and time and the amount, the amount of intel that you guys have year after year for the next season is major. And the first question I want to ask you, I've heard a lot of people talk about this, is you run so many trail cameras. So have you noticed that a buck will come back to an area around the same time within 7-day period year after year?
Yes and no. Yes mean they will do it. No mean every deer is just like me, you, and homie. They're all their own individuals. They all do different things. I strictly hunt public land for deer, and there's a lot of factors that come into that. But to revert back on the yes, basically 2 seasons ago, I was chasing a booner. I'm pretty sure I seen him one time from the stand. I'm pretty sure, not 100%. And then basically shed season rolled around. Everybody was shed hunting. I was trying to hold off on getting the sheds because it was mid-February, I think. And I was getting pictures of just shed dogs and people shed hunting. And I had this deer pinned down. Season wasn't in. I knew right where he was. And I told myself, I'm either going to go in there and I'm going to pick up them sheds, or I'm going to go in there and I'm going to run into him. And I'll be dang if I didn't go in there and run right into him with both antlers on the side of his head.
Oh, man.
And to answer your question, the next year, he was right there. Right there, same time.
So he was late wintering in the same exact area.
So, well, I started. I had some buddies getting pictures of him earlier than I did. I think I started getting him in October, and then first year I was getting him in October. I actually had a couple pictures of him that weren't good pictures, basically because I was running crappy trail cameras. Just to be honest with you. But after finally staring at the picture to where I couldn't stare at it no more, I realized that, hey, there he is. I just didn't know it. And so he started showing up in October two seasons ago. And last season, he actually showed up a little bit earlier. I started getting pictures of him, actually a lot earlier. I think I moved in more to his home core area, but same places I was getting him in October, he was there in the same week.
Nice, man. That's one thing I always wanted to do. I don't like. You said the public ground that you're hunting is close to 3,000 acres, right?
No, it's pushing 10,000 acres.
Oh,
but
holy smokes!
To in a nutshell, to sum it up, me and a couple buddies, we just threw out some cameras on what we thought we could manage, because we try to throw out cameras on 10,000 acres and hunt 10,000 acres. Me personally, in my views, I just get sidetracked. There's too many places to go, too many what ifs. So we just, 3,000 acres is still a good chunk of ground, but we just more or less called that home.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's giant. I don't think we have a property close to us that's 3,000 acres public.
How big is Spoon?
It's like 1,500.
15, yeah. See that? Yep. That's almost as big as it gets around here.
Yeah. So that's
right.
I don't know what Snake Den is, but I mean
it ain't that big.
No, it's not. So, yeah, that's awesome that you're strictly public and you've been as successful as you have on public. That just blows my mind. I've shot one decent buck off public, and it was Halloween night, and it was like 6 or 7 years ago, and I was super proud of that buck. I had a really bad circumstance for that buck on public, but you'll get that some areas,
Oh yeah.
That's one thing I want to talk about. How have the people been out on public ground with you?
Man, for the most part, in a whole, really good. I've met good friends. I've died laughing in parking lots. I've seen Boone and Crockett deer sitting on the back of tailgates. I've heard deer stories. I've met new friends. It's been a very, very, very good experience. Pretty much looking back over the last, I don't know, over a decade of public land hunting.
With that reminds me and my cousin Dallas, we used to hunt the public ground opener every season, and the parking lot's just full of people. And there's this one group of guys that would bring a barbecue grill, and they'd stand right around the barbecue grill, hunting gear up, cook some steaks and stuff, and then they go right back out 95 degrees, and they'd hunt the evening hunt. And we were always there, and we started grilling, but we'd pull all our stuff off and start grilling, and then we hunt the evening hunt, and we'd almost always shoot a doe that first weekend. So it was always, like you said, it's if you get on good public where you can feel some guys out, we had a lot of fun out there with the guys, and it's just the beginning of the season, and fun. But how deep are you guys going on public? Is it, you guys got a long walk or a long drag out on there?
Not really. I say that. I'd say our longest one's 1.5 miles, and that's not as a crow flies. That's probably by foot travel. The thing with these WMAs or public properties is, I'm gonna tell you from experience, the secret about going deep is out, and it has been out. And some of these savages that come in from the East Coast and down south, that come to the Midwest, they're killers, and they are willing to put in the work, and they will go the distance. Without a doubt, there's multiple people that will go the distance. But the thing you run into on a lot of public properties is access. You got 10,000 acres, and you're looking at a map, and either you know it good or you don't know it good. And let's just say you don't know it good. You're looking at a map, and okay, I'm going deep. You look at it, use Hunt Stand or Onyx, you map it out. It's 1.5 miles back. There's a good ridge or a field that you want to sit on. You bounce in there, man. You spend an hour in the dark getting back there. You get all the way back there, you see a flashlight. You're like, what?
Yeah, it's devastating, dude. I've been there.
You're like, what? And that's just because you didn't know that 1.5 miles on the other side of the property, which is the property line, you had basically a 3-mile stretch of property, which is huge, but you got two guys trying to go deep coming in from the north or the south or the east or the west, and they run right into each other.
Yeah.
So basically, I just go where the deer are. I don't care if it's at the parking lot. I don't care if it's right behind somebody's back house from the property, real close to the property line, or if it's 2 miles back. That's where I'm going.
That's some good intel, because most of the time you hear people say, you got to go deep, or you got to go where people aren't. And you're putting in the work and running the trail cameras and going where the deer are, And
yeah, you got to go where the deer are. You don't have to go deep. The best thing, there's no substance for boots on the ground. Put the boots on the ground. People are lazy. They leave sign just like deer do. You look at trees, you can see where they climbed. You look at old thumbtacks, or the cat eye, the bright eyes from their flashlights, because people have lost woodsmanship. You see ribbons, you see trash, you see footprints. There's just so much that you can learn, and there's so much that people will literally, walk past. So, to answer your question, you don't always have to go deep. Yes, you can and have some great hunts, but my place where I seen my booner and killed my second to last deer where I hunt at was a 20-minute flat walk.
Yeah, I got a spot like that on public here that I stuck a buddy, and try to get my cousin to hunt there. I'm going to go public. I actually put my shotgun tag in this year for strictly public. I'm going to leave my private piece alone. And I'm going to be down in the, oh man, it's like this piece that people don't even know it's part of the park. It's split off by a creek. There's no parking access. You got to walk like a mile down the road, and then you can cut in. And I've never seen a tree stand down there, and I've found sheds down there. There's a ton of buck sign, and I'm gonna have there's one. It's like a nasty ass grass area with a creek draw, and I'm gonna climb up this one lone walnut tree of my climber and smoke a giant with my shotgun. That's my plan. But
I was gonna say,
Hey,
it sounds real
yeah.
like you already did it.
no, no.
Positive vibes, man. You got this.
Yeah,
You got to stay positive.
my buddy hunted down there. He hasn't shot a deer yet, and he's missed 2 small bucks in the doe early season. So I know there's deer going through there. There's a ton of ground scrapes and sign during shed season, and I actually took my cousin and walked him to his first shed find down there, and it was a pretty nice buck for public. So, like you said, those little overlooked areas might be good. And then I also hunt a piece that is limited draw, and people think that it's like really hard to get in, but it's not. But everybody I tell that I was in, I'm like, oh yeah, it's hard to get in, you know. But I've been drawed the last 2 years, and I haven't. And people are like, oh yeah, we could have took 15 more hunters or 10 more hunters. I'm like, man, this isn't, and it's just full of big deer. But people just overlook it because they're like, oh, it's hard to hunt. Access is hard. You can only hunt certain time periods. And like you said, they're lazy, and they don't want to put the work in to figure out where the deer are on that ground.
Right. I couldn't agree more with you, man. Couldn't agree more.
So we've been talking about trail cams. So let's
Yes,
get
sir.
in. Let's get in. So right now we're getting into Velvet Fest. What is your trail cam game look like right now?
Well, it's taking baby steps, okay? You know, our season opens up the first weekend of September here, which is a high success rate for a velvet buck. You know, hence Velvet Fest. I've never killed one, but I want to. And I haven't got all of my trail cameras out. Basically, I think I have 8 or 10 out. I would have to check Deer Lab or check my Onyx. But basically, I've just got a few out, a couple in reoccurring places where I hang the trail camera on the same tree every year. And then I keep a couple satellite cameras that I just kind of move around throughout the season. Basically just trying to stay on fresh sign. And I got a few of those out as well, because you know the crops rotate and the food plots rotate on any ground, and you know, although the deer may not be visiting it in the daylight right now, he's definitely doing it at night. And I don't care anywhere you got in the Midwest, if you got beans, you got the deer if they're in the area. And so I got some cameras set up really close to what I think are some bedding, probably within 100 yards. And then I got a couple cameras set off 200 or 300, 400 yards around some to where I think that they're feeding. And just basically, you know, when I check them, I'm going to see if you know what I'm thinking is true. If I'm on their bed or if I'm not. I'm 100% positive I'm on the food source, but that's only half of killing a big deer.
So when you're running those trail camera now, are you later in the year, you know, maybe like you know, end of September or 1st of September when you can start hunting them? Are you on public ground? Are you targeting a specific buck? Or are you just going to an area where you have a lot of buck activity?
I've only tried to target one specific buck in my whole entire life, and that was last season, and he was killed opening day of gun season. And to be honest with you, I more or less I knew that because, you know, that's the same deer that I told you I ran into. He still had the antlers on his head. I was on him. And, you know, come the rut, he really didn't run far, man. He really didn't. He stayed on about 500 or 600 acres. And I felt like my chances were high. And he just stopped showing up on my trail cameras. So, you know, when I was hunting the cameras that I was, you know, literally right there, I was checking them, and he had been on them all season. He just wasn't on them. He wasn't on any of them. The real big tracks around what I think his bedding area was, they kind of disappeared. And I was just like, man, he's done. It's time to change. Time to change gears. So
before we get too much deeper, how many trail cameras do you run, just so the listeners can know, in a year's time?
I don't know exactly how many I have. I have to go. I actually write them down. That way I know. But I personally have over 30 myself. And me as a group with just a few of my buddies, we run close to 70.
Yeah, so you guys are getting some serious intel on that property. One other,
Oh.
I know,
Oh,
homie's
yeah.
got a question he's itching to ask, but I got to ask you one more time. So I get a giant on trail cam,
Okay.
and then I see my neighbor shoot it, and you get that
Yep.
that feeling. You guys get that all the time. I mean, if you're running that many trail cameras, like you said, you got pretty much every buck on that area. Maybe a few randoms that you haven't picked up, but you're like, oh yeah, I know that buck. Man, that's got to be a devastating blow when you start seeing big deer drop every year that you got trail cameras on.
Well, what happens is you keep your circle small and you don't show your pictures to nobody, for the most part. Okay, so you'll meet some guys out there hunting and you'll exchange numbers, and so basically what you do is you stick a group of hunters in that have friends. So basically you got 5 friends and they got 5 friends, so 10 people that's hunting or more, and when they kill a big deer, they send you a picture of it, and they don't know that you got a picture of it, but you do. So you just knock him off the hit list, and then you go ahead and you send them a picture out of respect, like here he was alive. But until then, they had no clue you knew about him, just because, man, that's the name of the game on public land.
That's hunting, man. Yeah, no one's seen me or homie's giant bucks.
No.
We talk about them, but no one's seen the pics.
I've only actually had one deer that when the picture come in of him dead, I just kind of dropped my phone and looked at my wife like somebody ran over my dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was that big deer I was hunting last year. I knew he was dead, but I had no confirmed. He was killed like November 14th or 15th, whenever Kentucky's opening modern gun season was. But I didn't get the picture till like December or January. And the picture of the guys, literally, you can see all the woods in the background where all of his core bedding was, and the cameras over, and I've stood right there at the property line looking over the fence thinking, yeah, this is where he's going to die this year. So yeah, I try not to get too attached to them, but every once in a while you have something special come along, and what I mean by that is you have a really big deer that comes by that's not really smart, so he's actually killable. And out of all my years on public ground, that's only happened one time. I found a really big deer that was dumb, and I think he died when he was 5.5 years old. I don't know, buy a rifle on private ground.
So can you hunt rifle on public there? Or?
No, well, it just all you got. That's the thing with any state. You need to stay up on your rules and regulations, because some places are open to statewide regulations. Some places are bow only. Some places offer like muzzleloader hunts. Like where I hunt, there's no rifle hunting. So during rifle season, I don't even have to wear orange. And I'll be like, I'll throw a selfie out there or put something, and I get a private message like, dude, you better put your orange on. I'm like, dude, you better read the regulations. So, and it just all depends on where you hunt. Sometimes I'll throw some orange in the pack and take a picture with it and take it off, and I really ain't gonna have it. Just to kind of keep people off my back.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know you're itching, homie. Go ahead and hit him. Hit him.
So with all these trail cams that you're running and it being public ground, are you going? What's your scent control look like going in to check them?
And to be honest with you, it's not much. Just gonna shoot you straight. If I know where some hardcore bedding is, I will definitely try to keep my wind out of there, and I won't check those cameras. But basically, it's Saturday morning, and I got all day Saturday and all day Sunday to hunt. I'll do a short hunt Saturday morning. I'll get down, and my boots are on the ground, and I'm straight up burning leather. I don't care which way my wind's blowing, which way the deer are running, and I mean, I have a little method between that, because basically, I like to pick public ground that allows hikers and horseback riders and all that. So there's a big difference in you taking off walking through the woods and your 200 acres of private property that you let all out that you did not hunt till November versus the 10,000 acres of public ground that people hike, horseback ride, coon hunt, small game hunt, all that on. And you can get away with a lot more.
Yeah, people they're just adjusted to it. You know, they're used to human scent with people being out there. That I understand that.
No, I don't play. I know it sounds crazy because with the way the scent game is and all the in-fault pixie dust and all the hocus pocus that's out there that really doesn't work. I just don't buy into it. And at the end of the day, I'm a blue collar guy, and I'm gonna either wait and not get the intel or go in and get it. And I choose to go in and get it because a lot of times the earliest I check any of my cameras is 2 weeks, but normally it's like every 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's something I want to share right now. So you are a coal miner, right? So you got family, so you got limited time. I just want you to share with the listeners kind of what your hunting time is like, to where they can realize how successful you've been on public with the time that you put in.
Okay, so I work 2 weeks of days and 2 weeks of nights. Every other weekend is a family weekend for me. I have all my kids here at the house. Unless it's the rut, I really don't go out. If I do go out, I'm normally down way before I should be, or I have my son with me. And so basically, I got 4 days a month to hunt, and on my off weekends or on my night shift weekends, I don't leave my job site till 1:30. It's a 2-hour drive to where I hunt, so I'm literally got up at 8 o'clock, worked a 10-hour shift, driving all night, and as soon as I get there, I more or less just go get in the stand. I'm pretty much the first one in there for the most part, and normally one of the last ones to leave.
Yeah, that's probably why you are so successful on public, man. You get in there, there's probably a lot of deer that gets bumped to you in the morning from people coming in late or people getting out at 9 and stuff like that. So
Time on stand is key.
yeah.
Yes, it is. There's no substitutes for boots on the ground and time on the stand, man. You got to be in the stand to kill them. Because you never know. I mean, you really never know. I don't care how windy it is, how hot it is, how cold it is, what anybody told you. You never know, because it can change just like that. And I'm telling you, I've been at the lowest of lows and turned around, and there he was. And 30 seconds later, it was done.
Yep, that's what we learn a lot on this podcast, man. There's just, people killed giant deer in like the worst circumstances you can imagine. So it can happen at any time. Like you said, if you got the time, you got to be out there and you got to be ready, because it could happen at any time,
Right. And to kind of, go back on your question, which you was talking about, like, how's my scent control when I check my cameras? Like I said, I try, and it doesn't always happen. I try to key into places that have hiking trails, that have horseback riding trails, that really have a lot of human activity throughout the year, because what happens is you have a large piece of property and the deer is born on it, and he a lot of times, he may never leave the public property. So throughout his whole life, that's all he knows. He's smelling humans, he's smelling humans, he's smelling humans, he's smelling humans. Now, whether he's smart enough to figure out if he's hunted or not, I couldn't tell you. But I like to pick the places that not necessarily are hunted real hard, but have a lot of human, intrusion on it, because I can get away with a lot more myself. You're going to think this is funny, but we got this camera that was down there at what we call the Lower Westfield, and it had a booner on it, and it had a couple of 140s, maybe a 150 on it. Daylight pictures, wide open field, mile and a half from any parking place. And then what do I get on it besides a bunch of hunters? some Amish kids out courting about 17 years old in the broad daylight.
Solid.
Yeah.
Big ridges all the way around this field, and I couldn't tell you how many deer probably just sit up there and watch them people.
Yeah.
And it's so you just, I mean, it goes back to learning, you know, knowing like know your property, know your deer, know where you hunt, because some places you really can get away with a lot more than others. And I don't think I'm the greatest hunter, so I like to stack the odds in my favor, and I think that's by going to where there's human intrusion.
Yeah, that's a great idea, because like you said, they're used to it. So you running trail cameras is just like another hiker to them. You know, that's not something that's out of the ordinary. So oh, go ahead.
Now I was just going to tell you, like you hear all these people saying like they see this deer sign in this rub, and I don't want to lead people the wrong way, because a lot of it is done at night. But what I'm getting at is you never really know until you dump a lot of cameras in on the area and you let them bake for a long time without checking them. You'll have a horse trail or a hiking trail, and literally you will have people hunting or walking or horseback riding, and then 2 or 3 hours later in the broad daylight, there's a 150 using the easy route right down the trail. Same way, walking in the same scent, knowing he smells it, knowing he's out in the open, knowing he's vulnerable right there. So it's just something to kind of stick in your hip pocket.
Some deer are dumb and some deer are smart.
Yeah, they say that they don't get big by being dumb, but some of them are just dumb. But for the most part, I mean, they're not. But you just got to know your deer.
Yeah, I'm a big shed hunter, you know, and I shed hunt public, and I never there's this trail that people go in. It's like back where I shot my buck, and there's a bunch of hunters back there, you know, so I kind of faded away from that area just because there's so much hunters. But my buddy went shed hunting there and found 3 sheds and one really nice 8-pointer. And I'm talking it's probably 60, 70 yards from the parking lot where he found these sheds, you know? And then then this year, I'm with my boy out shed hunting, and I find a 70-inch shed 20 yards from the road on another piece of public ground.
Exactly.
That people were like, oh, I'd never look there, you know? And that's exactly what I thought about my buddy going out there. I'm like, that stuff's been hit so much, it's not even funny. And then, boom, he picks up 3 sheds and one really nice one off public, you know? So that's what he said.
Right. And people say, you know, like, unless you sit there, a time or two, you really don't know. But somebody may see that and they're like, you know, that deer's nocturnal. That deer's not, this is all nocturnal. Well, how do you know? How do you know? Because it's right beside a walking trail or right beside the road. How do you know that the deer wasn't just watching you? Because I'll tell you something, I struggle in October. Okay, I do. But there is no such thing as the October lull. A deer moves every day. He may not move far, but he moves. He doesn't sit there all day long from dark to dark.
Yeah, I've shot 2 bucks October 15th in the evening, middle of the October lull. So exactly. I don't believe in the October lull. I believe you can get in there on them with the right conditions. Maybe a cold front coming in. One was shot on a cold front, and one was shot because the farmer was picking the cornfield close to my area. So, right. You know, you got the right conditions where you might get deer moving on their feet. I'd think the October, and then just like our couple podcasts ago, you know, he believes the first 10 days are the best days to kill a buck. You know, he shot.
Well, they're definitely unpressured.
Yeah, he shot a 196 and the 170s and a couple 160s,
yeah.
Right in the first 10 days of October, you know, which blows my mind, you know. But, you know, it's just, it's you know, there's not a lot of people out there hunting, like you said. The rut on public, I could assume it just gets overrun, you know, when it comes to the rut.
It does, because everybody wants that everybody wants that Vegas luck. And what I mean by that is everybody wants to hunt the rut. And there's nothing wrong with that, because really that's your highest odds of killing not a specific, but good deer.
Yeah, I believe that too. I mean, it's if you're not putting in the work like you are running the trail cameras, and you're just going out, sitting on a pinch or sitting on a saddle that might be, or sitting on a doe bedding area, something like that, that's your best chance of a buck cruising in daylight, And maybe he don't know the area. He's in a different zone than he normally is, so he's cruising on top of the ridge instead of 3/4 of the way down the ridge, being a little risky, and you get a shot. But one thing I want to talk about is you run so many trail cameras on public, and I've ran trail cameras on public, so I have to ask, you don't have to give me all your tips, but I have to ask how you don't get them vandalized or stolen. You got to have some secret method.
Well, the last couple of years, I would argue with you, because I don't know what's happened the last couple of years. Well, I think I know. Basically, I think we moved in on somebody's hot spot, and they were just tired of it. So instead of stealing our cameras, which doesn't happen a whole lot, not for running as many cameras as we did, they were destroying them. All of our cameras are locked to the max, cable lock with mini padlock, and they would destroy the camera, drop the batteries, and take the SD card and roll out. So we would come in all stealth-like, pumped up, because our cameras soak. We, like I said, maybe check one every 2 weeks, but that's rare. All of ours has been out a month, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, some of them all season. And then we get to this camera, and it's smashed.
Oh, man, heartbreak, dude.
That's terrible.
It's smashed. Who does that? Somebody that wants to die does that. But anyways, to get back to your question, so until last year or so, and it only happens in this one area where we hunt. So if we kind of stay outside that area with our cameras, we don't really have any problems. Not for running 70 cameras. I didn't have one stolen last year. I had one smashed, but I put it in the same tree as it got smashed in the year before, but I put it about 14 foot high, and he still got it out of the tree.
Dang.
Wow.
Guys,
You worked for it, though.
Yeah.
Had to work.
Yeah. But, man, you move into an area and things like this start happening, you really got to think outside the box. And there's some trees sometimes that I want to put a camera on, but I just can't, because the camera, it sticks out too much. The tree's dark and the camera's light, or vice versa. You put the camera on the tree and you can see it plain as day. So I try to pick my trees. If my camera's dark, I try to pick a dark tree. If my camera's a lighter camera, like some of my Lift 2s, I like a lighter tree. One method is hanging them high, and that does work. But the thing about that is people like me on this podcast, people like everybody else on the podcast that says hang them high, everybody's starting to look high.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hunters are going down field edges looking in the trees now. And I know that. So, color coordinate your cameras. If you got a bag full of cameras like me, I run the Exodus, the 2 different ones, put them on a tree that blends in. And another thing that people don't think about is put them on a tree about the size of the camera. Don't put it on a smaller tree. Don't put it on a bigger tree, because if you put it on a tree about the size of the camera, number one, they can't hardly cut the tree with a saw. They shouldn't have that saw there in the first place, but man, they're going to have to cut a tree down about the size of your calf. They're going to be there in a minute. They're going to have to work for it. So, put it on a tree about that size, because if the tree's too big, it sticks out. If the tree's too small, it sticks out. You can hang them high, or if the water doesn't get in them, which is the number one thing at killing cameras, you can hang them low. Now, hanging them high and hanging them low, that definitely messes with the quality of your picture. It messes with the angle of your deer, makes some deer look bigger than what they really are, takes down on your nighttime pictures, you know, your flash range isn't as good. So my number one thing is I put them on trees that they blend into, and I put them on trees the size of the camera, because they can't just go over there and cut the tree down. And if the camera's, you know, say it's 4 inches across and you put it on a 4-inch tree, it kind of blends in.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and now I'm OCD, and my wife will tell you, but if you're running a python cable or a strap, hey, tuck that bad boy around the tree. Don't leave that tail hanging. Don't leave that tail hanging, because number one is that just shows you, you know, what kind of hunter you are. You know, I come in here, I put this camera on a tree, I pulled this cable tight, or I pulled this strap tight, I'm out. I'm like, man, you gotta hunt cleaner than that. So wrap that bad boy around the tree and get it tight. That way there's nothing flapping in the wind for people to see. There's nothing hanging down. And try to get it all tucked in real close to the camera. That way, you know, if from the top of your camera to the bottom is 5 inches, you know, you got 5 inches of camera showing and hardly any cable or strap, versus a big tail hanging down, or tie your strap up 5 inches above the camera. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. You don't want to get a bunch of pictures of your strap blowing in the wind either.
No. So, and then it's like me. If you got people that really like to mess up things, man, just stay out of there. You know, don't put a camera there. It's not worth it to get a camera smashed or stolen. I mean, just don't put a camera there, because, you know, a lot of people hunt a lot of the same areas. And if you get a camera stolen right there in one close area, chances are you put one back there, he's probably going to get it, because he's going to be back in there.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome tips for the listeners, man. That's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't have thought of. One thing I wanted to ask, since you're running so many cameras, I wanted to see, you know, you hear a lot of people talk about, you know, deer react to cameras, or they get scared to cameras. I wanted to see if you ever noticed that throughout the season or throughout the years.
I have, over my experience of running trail cameras, which goes all the way back to film cameras, if that tells you how long I've been running them. Okay, but not really, not enough to where it matters to me. Now, some people say, like this guy that's hunting a private farm, he wants this totally blackout camera, makes no flash, no nothing. To me, it's not that big of a deal, even on public ground, because the deer, if I see it, how I run my trail cameras, if it spooks him, I'm going to get him wherever he goes. Bottom line. But most of the time, man, it don't. They just get curious about it. And that's where you see it. You get this perfect picture of this big deer, and he freezes right in the middle of the perfect picture. And then the next thing you know, here he comes. And then before you know it, his nose is on it.
Yeah, I got a lot of pictures of that where they're up in there.
Yeah, and then my experience is he'll just keep coming back. Now, there has been a few, I could probably count them on one hand, maybe no more than two hands, where I've got a picture of a deer and he's just gone. You know, that big deer I had, that joker looked me in the eyes on the camera. I could send you pictures where his eyes are turned. You can see the white in his eyes, and he is looking dead at the camera saying, I'm right here where you at.
Yeah,
mocking you. He could care less. I think, me personally, the thing that scares them is the sound. Sound of the camera, cycling through the pictures or whatever it may do. They may be real close to it, and you hear click. That may freak them out.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I know a lot of people say, you know, they see lightning and get flashed and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know if you've had it or not, but if you've ever been walking through public at night and walk past a trail camera and it's flashed you, I about pissed my pants, dude. That scared me, man. So
the thing about it is the IR cameras, not the blackout, just the regular infrareds, they're so low glow and they flash so fast. You literally have got to be looking at the camera at the exact second that it goes off. Now, if somebody has it on like a 3-shot burst or on a 3-shot burst every 5 seconds, you may be able to see a little better. But I can't tell you how many times on an IR camera back in the day that I've got pictures of people, whatever, walking right past the camera in the dark, and they never seen it.
Yeah, that's good to know, man. Because I you know, you never know with deer, you know, or how they react to your camera. You know, are they just cruising through there, then they see your camera, and then they're like, well, I'm not going to come back here. But it's good to know someone that runs that many cameras on public ground where deer are, you know, more alert than private, are, you know, they're not affected that much by them.
I guess it just depends on you and your goals. Like me, you know, I try to keep mine on the budget because I'm on the public ground and I run a lot, and if the deer moves, I feel about 95% confident that I can find him within probably a 2-mile square radius or mile and a half square radius. But if you're hunting a private ground and you really are trying to keep it low key, and if you really are anal and you think that it may scare him, just go with a blackout camera, because my experience is you buy the best gear you can afford and you stick with it. You buy the best gear, no matter what nobody says, it gives you the most confidence, and you stick with it. Because at the end of the day, when you're sitting up in the tree, they're not killing the deer for you. You're doing the work. So if buying that IR camera, you know, makes you feel better about it because you got a small farm and you don't want to spook the deer, you got a 200, you know, world-class deer that you don't want to spook, you know, buy the blackout. But to me, man, versus the money, I don't see the issue with running either or.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of, you know, that's a big issue for everybody, is just trying to get the money rounded up for trail cams, because that's an extra expense. You know, they might have to pay for their land, they got to pay for gear, they got to pay for tags, license. You know, it's just coming up with the extra $100.
Hang on, homie. What? Repeat what you just said.
I don't know what I just said.
He said, da 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 da. You got to pay for the land. Did I hear that right?
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He
Now,
got you.
Let me go into just a little bit more detail. And I know some of the private guys that, you know, hunt the private ground may not be able to relate to this, but that's how I have so many cameras. That's how I have good gear. Josh Profitt don't pay lease fees.
Good for you, Josh. You're a baller. I need to get on your level.
Josh Profitt don't own 60 acres and pay a big payment on it. Josh Profitt hunts the land of the free and on public ground, and so that allows me to spend extra money on good gear. I mean, it really does. That's how I buy my trail cameras. That's how I buy my clothes, my gear, my bows, my arrows. No lease fees. No, I'm not tied to, I'm not married to any kind of big payment.
That's baller, dude. I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that. That's like the best thing that's come out of this episode so far. Because I'm on that edge right now. As do I buy ground, or do I just stick it to the man and go back to public?
No.
I got to go back to public, man. I can't.
Dude, number one, follow your gut, okay? But I'm gonna tell you and all the listeners right now, my gut tells me not to, because it's too phony. It's too phony, because if I was to buy something, it would be 50 or 60 acres, and I'd be too scared to hunt it because it's so small, and I could never get in there. And I got this public land, man, and you know, I've had 6 booners on a camera in one season.
Yeah, I've seen the pics, man.
How many people hunting huge managed farms, let's say 500 acres, which is a big farm that hardly anybody could afford, very few listeners probably. How many people have had that in a season?
Very few.
Are you starting to see the advantages?
Yeah.
So you take that money, you buy trail cameras, you buy gear, you get a plan going, okay? I may lose 1 camera. I may lose 2 cameras, so I got extra money for new ones, or I can buy this new Sitka gear, or First Light, or Kuiu. There's just, public land has disadvantages, but I would argue that it has more advantages than it does disadvantages.
For sure. So you've been talking a lot about these Exodus trail cameras.
Whoop, whoop. I'm not biased.
So I want to cover those, man. The pictures that me and homie were scrolling through some of the trail cam pictures that you sent me, and them Exodus are clean, dude. You can just tell by the different, trail cameras that you're sending me. I'm like, dude, this pic is nice.
Well, I will put my Exodus, okay, my $229 lift, which is kind of expensive. I understand that, but let me break it down for you. I will put it up because I've done it in my backyard, and I do have one Reconyx camera that I won from the Lindsay Way. I will put it up right beside that Reconyx camera, and on the other side of it, I will put that Mac Daddy stealth camera, whatever it is, DSK, 30 megapixel, yada, yada, yada. Great camera. Don't get me wrong. Great camera. I will put that lift 12 megapixel camera right beside it, and I will bet that it takes just as good a picture, if not better, than the 30 megapixel stealth camera, and probably better than the Reconyx.
All I know is it looked really legit.
Yeah, that buck hitting the scrape, dude.
Yes.
In the middle of the day, that was some epic pics, dude. I was like, dude, I can see this deer's nose hair, man. This picture,
man, that's what direct consumer products get you. That's what, and I just want to throw this out there. I don't get. Exodus doesn't do a big pro. They don't do any kind of pro staff. I don't get any huge deals off by saying this. I don't normally push products, but I'm telling you, after over a decade of running trail cameras, I have found one camera and one company, and I mean this, man to man, listener to listener, viewer to viewer, that is worth talking about, that is worth pushing. It is. Exodus has forever, in my eyes, changed the industry, and they have set the bars. In fact, that when they come about, that I'm almost positive that Reconyx had to make their cameras a 5-year warranty because Exodus was the only one on the market when they come out that had it. So Reconyx decided to match it.
That's a no BS warranty, right?
No BS. Sasquatch could knock that son of a buck off the limb, and they're gonna fix it.
Them damn ants is what I got a problem with.
Oh yeah, the ants are vicious.
Hey, you told me that the other day, and it was really weird because I've had ants kill my cameras, and I don't know if it's a coincidence or what, but I have one camera out on a private farm that's my stepdad's that I use for my kids, loaded with ants, thousands. I pulled up to it, and it was on a stick and tick in the field, and I look at it. I go to get a few feet away from it, and it's just thousands of ants to the point where I don't even open it. I just grab it and start shaking it around, throw it in the back of my truck, and drive off with it on. Open it up, dude, ants infested. And what do I do when I open it up? It's still taking pictures. And right now, it's not out, but it's in the bed of my hunting truck, and it works fine.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I had a mobile cam and ants got to it, and I got about 1,000 pics of nothing. I'm like, what is going on? And there was ants crawling across the sensor, dude. I'd have like a little black spot on the pic here, a little black spot here on the next one. I'm like, damn. Go out there, just smoked with ants, and then it finally just stopped taking pictures. So I was like, I got to go check this thing out, and
man,
done. And then, and then the warranty.
Go ahead.
The warranty, garbage.
Oh yeah, that was brutal. That was last year, right?
Yeah, it was.
What kind of camera was it?
Oh, I can't say.
Was it a military? Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
I can't say, but the warranty was. I was lit. And then I had another thing. Well, I bought a trail camera. So you buy them on sale. Christmas time, deer season's done. Everybody's lowering their prices. So I buy a trail camera off the shelf. I don't even open the thing. I put it in the gun cabinet. Here comes season. Turn it on. Don't work. I'm like, all right.
That's typical.
I'm like, all right, 6-month warranty. I'm like, 6-month warranty, man. It's October. I bought this thing in December. This is the first time I turned it on. Nothing we can do. We can send you a 10% discount code. I'm like, what? You kidding me, man? You know?
Yeah, how about
So,
this
yeah.
size 10 goes up here where the sun
Yeah,
don't shine?
right? So the 5-year warranty, I mean, that sells it right there, you know, and
It's huge with theft coverage, with theft and damage coverage. They're the only camera on the market that has it.
damn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's good.
And
See,
that is good. That is good. I'm pretty sure. Okay, now like I say, I'm not pro staff. I don't work for Exodus. One camera, 1 unit per year. So if you bought a camera and it breaks or somebody steals it, they'll sell you 1 per year for every camera you bought.
that's
which-
good though, man. I mean,
Yeah.
You buy their Trek, which is $145. Roughly $65 later, if you have one stolen, you got you a brand new camera.
yeah. I mean, that's
who
good.
does that?
Yeah, not very many of them. I've worked
No,
with 2
nobody
of them,
does.
and their warranty is garbage. Homie knows how. There's nothing worse than going out to a trail camera that's soaked for a month and it isn't working. That's like
Oh man,
that's like
that's like have a Sasquatch moment and smash it right there.
yeah. You're
Say
like
a few words that
you
you
know,
don't.
That's just I don't even know.
Well, to my knowledge, that's why Exodus started, because the guys that started, it's a very small business, only a few people own it. They were having the same issues that you're having, that I had, and they just got tired of it, and they said, we got to do something about this, and here's what we can do. Now, what can we do about it? And they kind of come up with a plan, and they come up with this camera, this lift and this Trek that are 5-year no BS warranty that is seriously, you buy a $229 camera that is, comparable, if not better, in my opinion, than the $500 Reconics, or you buy their $145 Treks, same shell, a lot of the same components as the lift, 5-year warranty that performs like your $300 Spartan cameras, or what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It's I ain't gonna say I'm a walking book of knowledge on their cameras, but I kind of am, and I only say that because when I had a bunch of cameras smashed, this is how me and Exodus begun. I had a bunch of cameras smashed 2 years ago. When I say a bunch, like 10. So that kind of brought my trail cameras low, and my thing was I had Browning. I had every kind of camera that you could think of. I had several of them, over 30 of them, mixed batch. Well, I decided I wanted one good camera, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I am biased towards Exodus, but there are great cameras on the market. Browning's great cameras. I've had decent luck with Bushnell, and I've had great luck with stealth cameras. They're newer models. I have. But I put a post, back when I had Facebook, put a post on Facebook. I was like, hey, can somebody, contact me in with stealth camera? I'm looking to buy like a bunch. I was wanting to buy like 50. So I was looking for a deal. And I was thinking 50 cameras, I can get a deal. And I threw some pro staff out because, I would love to be part of a pro staff of a camera company because I love to run cameras. And one of the co-owners seen it, and he just kind of shot me a message. And I didn't even know he was the owner, actually. He's like, hey, man, this is who I am. This is what I do. What do you think about this camera? And I was like, man, what you say sounds legit, but or sounds good, but it doesn't sound true. And what doesn't sound, something normally doesn't sound true, you normally walk away from it because it's not true. And he actually told me, he was like, how about we just send you one and you use it, and if you like it, you pay me for it, and and if you don't like it, just send it back. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, but we got this new Lift 2 coming out. He said, wait till it comes out, and we'll get you one. Well, I waited, and I seen the pre-orders coming up. And I thought, you know what? I'm not waiting for this. I don't need a handout. I pre-ordered one. It come in. The first day it come in, I took it beside my baddest stealth camera. I took it and beside my Reconyx camera in my backyard. And I just did a bunch of hillbilly tests walking around the yard. And, dude, the Exodus was killing it. And I was just like, wow. So I went right back in and ordered like 5 more. Just like Johnny on the spot. And then I really dug down, man, and I started like reading, like, you know, digging into how their cameras worked and what made them better than other people's, and how they got away from like the traditional clamshell design, which is like basically a 3-part camera. You open it up, your batteries are right there, you know, kind of like a Bushnell. Those type of cameras hold a lot of water, and that's the number one killer of cameras. And you know, if a camera has a 1-year warranty or a 2-year warranty, that's about all they're going to last, because that's the components they're putting in there, because they know shortly after, and it's not all cases. I've had some cameras that's lasted a long time, but in cases, shortly after the warranty's out, the camera's done, and you got to buy another one. That's just not the case with the Exodus. You know, they've took the retail out of the market, you know, the 40% markup, and they put it back into the camera, and they've just seriously built one of the top cameras in the industry. I mean, like, second to none. I mean, just how they've messed with them. It's just blows my mind how in depth they've went with them.
Well, from the pictures I've seen, yeah, everything you just said right there is spot on, man. Some really clear pictures.
Yeah, I mean, that buck was mid-scrape with his head up in the trees, and it's just an absolute clear picture. But, you know, when we were talking earlier and you said that 5-year no BS warranty, that's something I didn't know. But that's major to me. I mean, that's huge. Theft.
That should be huge to anybody.
You know,
if you're running trail cameras and you're listening to this, and you're only getting a year or 2 out of your warranty, you can do better than that for a cheaper price.
Yeah,
the same price.
I mean, even if you buy the Lift 2 and it's a little more expensive, you got 5 years. You got to think, how many $100 cameras are you going to run through? I got a $100 camera that's in my truck right now that's going to be a dummy camera because it doesn't work. It's going to be
and what happens is somebody will buy a cheap camera. Like I see this a lot. Like, we bought this Tasco camera for $25 at Walmart on sale, and the dang thing misses everything. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
It takes horrible pictures, and it doesn't even last the season. So in 5 years, instead of spending $145, which you can get the Trek for, you done spent $600 on 10 cameras that didn't last, and you lost all that intel.
Yeah. You know, I'm definitely going to check out the Exodus.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking into it.
Like I said, you buy the best gear you can afford, and you stick with it. $145, that's not going to break, most people. And if that's expensive to you, then, buddy, you just need to save up and buy one.
Yeah, why have
don't buy the $80 camera from Academy or wherever you may buy it. Save up and buy a little better camera with a company that has got your back, and that should be with anything, with a vehicle you drive, with a new house that you buy, anything in life. You got to be smart about your purchases.
Yeah, why have 4 junk cameras that are going to miss pics when you can have one solid camera that you're going to get high quality pics to know what the deer actually is, and it's not going to miss anything. That's what I'm thinking. You're spending $75 on a cheap camera. You're spending $140 on a good camera. Run 2 good cameras and not 4 crap cameras. Or buy a couple good cameras and then buy a couple crap cameras. Just what I mean. So
right, and like my buddy, I love him to death. His name's Steven. I'm sure he'll listen to this. He buys a bunch of different cameras. And he's big on Browning, and Browning's great cameras. Don't get me wrong. I've had great luck with him. He has great luck with them, but he's got this mixed batch of cameras, and he doesn't own an Exodus, and he doesn't have one camera company that's got his back after a year or 2. Yeah. And the main thing that kills a camera, okay, the main thing that kills a camera. I did my research on this when I went to buy a bunch of cameras, because I wanted to know, I'm going to drop, thousands of dollars on these cameras. I want to know, what I'm getting is they put like a conformal coating on the inside of the electronics. And basically what that is, it's a process, and it is made for extreme environments and like moisture to kind of like losing my thought process here, but to like protect like circuit boards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, from extreme heat and extreme cold.
Yeah, no, water.
Water.
Yeah, well, and extreme heat and extreme cold, but mainly water. Water's the main thing that kills a camera. Water gets inside the camera, gets inside the components, and it's dead. Well, they treat it with a conformal coating that is made to withstand it. And Exodus, I found out through research that has done, multiple water tests where they put the camera under water for 10 seconds at a time, pulled it out, and the camera's running out of it, and then the camera's still working on the tree today.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely pumped to try out an Exodus. We got to get one. Try it out.
Yeah, I like your buddy there. He's running Browning. I've got a couple Brownings, and I thought they were really good. They are. Don't let me take away from that. Yeah. And they're a $120 camera, and I bought both of them on sale for $100. And I thought they were taking really good pics until I seen this pic from that you sent Cody with the Exodus, and man.
Yeah, and then you get a 5-year warranty for $40.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
for $40 more, not on sale.
And theft and damage.
Damage.
Yeah.
I mean,
and let me tell you something, okay? But this is kind of on this little off subject, but as soon as I got the Exodus, man, I really did know that I had something special and that I had something designed by a hunter that put a lot of thought into it, because I've tried everything, a camera to a tree, bear boxes, python cables, and I've come up with, me personally, the best bet for me is a python cable, because if they want the camera, they're going to how you got to fasten to the tree. They'll get it. That may destroy it, but they're safe. That you just lost $30 or $40 more. Well, you know how on your Brownings, how the python cable can go through the door and through the camera? And
yeah.
on Brownings, the back of the camera is metal, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on the Exodus, which I've never heard anybody talk about this. This is huge to me. When somebody steals my camera on public ground, because they got a python cable and they got a mini padlock. They normally just break the tabs off the back of the tree, okay, and take the camera. That's it. So it's theirs. Well, Exodus, on the back, you can stick the python cable through the top of the camera and the bottom. So when they break this thing, they literally destroy the back of the camera.
I see. Yeah, so you're running through the whole...
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're running through the whole back, so when they rip it off, they're not... Yeah.
Twice. They're not tearing it up. They're not just twisting it and breaking the top tabs off. They're breaking the top tabs and breaking the bottom tabs, which is something they've never done. I've never had that done with Exodus. And another thing that got me away from Brownings, and they may have changed, but when I was running them, I forgot which strike force I was running. Does yours take password protected?
No.
That is an absolute must, because when they steal that camera, now they can use it. Buy a camera with a password. That way, when they get it, either A, they just got a major parade rained on them because they went through all this work to steal this camera, and now it's got a password. So either A, they got to throw it away, B, they put it on their desk and use it as an expensive paperweight and think about all the bad things they've done and how they'll probably never shoot a deer again.
Karma, man. That deer karma gets you.
So that's just another tip, man. Don't buy any camera that doesn't take a password, because if they steal it, they can use it. If it's got a password and you enable it, which you should, private or public, then they can't use it.
For sure, man. That
makes them think twice about stealing them, because they see them and they think, oh, well, I can't use that one.
Yeah, so why steal the next one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're an hour and 10 minutes in this, and we haven't even cracked a seal with you, man. We're going to have you back on again sometime. I know
Yeah,
there's
I
a
kind
lot.
of feel like we've just kind of chatted around a little bit, but I hope y'all picked up a little bit from it.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
picked
yeah.
up a ton, dude. There's a lot of
We
good.
never really got to dive into Deer Lab and
Yeah, I
and
know.
all
We'll
that, which
we'll
is-
we'll get to that on a different episode, man. We gotta get to that. So
yeah, you know, just before I let you go, or y'all let me go, but, most people they get a picture of a big buck, and that's about the end of it. They got a picture of a big buck that they either lose it or it ends up in who knows, nowhere. It ends up nowhere. Or some people may dive in and they may pull up the weather from that day. But with Deer Lab, you put that in there. It's an internet cloud. It's cheap. It's very affordable. Very, very affordable. And instant access to everything: moon phase, wind speed, wind direction, heat maps, and fully blown out portfolio of deer, all organized to the max. They literally, I ain't gonna say it's cheating, but it takes a lot of the guessing work out of it.
yeah, we're gonna have you back on, man. If you're come back on, I want to have a full episode over Deer Lab and some of the stuff that you've talked about. And we didn't even touch our show notes, man. so we gotta have you back on. You don't have a choice. You just gotta come back on. So.
Oh yeah, like I said, man, this time of year rolls around right around July, man. It's like the temperature, man. It gets hot, but it's like the blood inside you starts boiling too, because
Yeah.
just right around the corner, man. The deer shaping up. You can tell who they are, who's going to be what deer was from the previous year, man. It's time of year to get fired up.
It is, man. We're getting fired up here in the Midwest. We're getting some decent trail cam picks already, and we're excited. We got some giants to chase here, so we're just waiting to get them on trail cam, and I got a couple just soaking right now, ready to pull, hoping to get that big boy on them. But we can't thank you enough
Yeah.
for coming on, man. This has been a super informal episode of trail cams, and there couldn't be a better time of the year to put this out. So I would really like, if you can do it, to schedule you again here soon to talk about Deer Lab and stuff. When people are really
Yeah.
starting to get those trail cams out, maybe in the next month or so, we can have you back on and
Yeah,
hit you again.
and man, yeah, and you don't need 60, 70, 30 trail cameras to do it, man. If you do it right and you sit down and you look at a map and you come up with a plan and you got 10 cameras or 8 cameras, and you can be pretty efficient with that. And, obviously not as the more you have, I'm going to say not necessarily the more you have, the better, but the more you have and the smarter you run them, the better. But you don't need a bunch of cameras to pattern deer. And so I'll just leave it at that, man.
All right, we can't thank you enough, dude. This has been awesome. So
Awesome, man. Well, I
we
appreciate y'all guys having me
barely
on here.
cracked your your limits of your knowledge, man. We could do like
I
a
know,
6-hour
I know.
podcast with you. So
You know how my buddy told me I was the two-beard queer, man. We was about to roll on number 4. We was about to really get it rolling.
Oh man.
all right, man. Just to our listeners, we appreciate you guys so much. We love you. Keep hitting that play button. Whitetail Legacy
All right,
out.
buddy.